we're going to jump in with the first one you mentioned, vulnerability management. And as you did say, for most people in the security space, it's table stakes. It's what you expect to do. It's hygiene, but it clearly is important. I'm going to pull up right now the top three in that space from a vendor perspective. If there's another one you'd like me to add, please let me know. But generally, when you think about these three, you're thinking about Qualys, Rapid7, and Tenable. I could certainly add another one if you'd like me to. But these are the three that we really believe are the focused vulnerability management players and the ones that we want to take a look at. So everything's come down since October, which is represented here for those who are not in the screen on our gray bars. Everything has come down a little bit since last year. That is to be expected. But generally, survey over survey, we're seeing stability. Tenable, however, is seeing a drop, whereas Rapid7 generally is seeing stability and Qualys is generally seeing stability. Let's just start with the vendors here. How big of a differentiation are there among them? Whether it's just for pure scanning and patching and management, or I know some of them also do other aspects as well. But from your perspective, sir, is there any real large difference in these vulnerability management players?
I've found a couple of differentiators. I've worked with all three major vulnerability management vendors throughout my career and had varying levels of success with all of them. So to a certain degree, they all match up as far as technology and approach. But one of the key market differentiators that has cropped up for me specifically is their FedRAMP authorization to operate, or ATO.
Sure.
This allows us to use certain tools within a specific regulatory framework that it's pretty restrictive in what you can and cannot do. And having that FedRAMP ATO is a huge market differentiator. So that's one of the big things that we focus on first when we're looking at a new vendor is where are you on your FedRAMP journey? And you will see that differentiation with these three vendors as well. And I think that may be part of what's driving the trend for Qualys because they have an ATO and have had a longstanding ATO. Rapid7 is right behind them. I'm not entirely certain where they are on their journey, but I know that they've been on that journey. I haven't spoken with Tenable in a couple of years. They used to be the incumbent where I am.
Yep.
They are no longer. And there were decisions made prior to my getting here, so I don't even clearly understand what the call was there.
But Qualys is the one that you are aware of that is further along in their FedRAMP certification that you can just go right ahead and there's no restrictions there.
Exactly. Qualys, I would have to say Qualys is the no-brainer on FedRAMP because, again, they have an active authorization to operate. They are operating directly within a number of federal agencies, so that makes it very easy to put them on your worksheet when you talk about your tools.
That is fantastic. I really do appreciate that. And then when we move to an adoption, they're actually leading. 9% of the US respondents here state that they're adopting Qualys in this most recent survey, as opposed to only 6% in Rapid7. And if we go to the unfortunate replacing percentage, Rapid7 is also leading in that. So there does seem to be a difference, but only 3% are actually stating a replacement for Qualys. So overall net score is our proprietary metric that kind of measures all of this and puts it into one unit of measurement. But it seems right now that Qualys does seem to be leading. Tight race, all three are there. One last question on this before we move on. From a pricing perspective and a vendor support perspective, you've worked for all three. Any clear differentiation there?
So this is the part where I'm going to express a little bit of opinion based on experience. My experiences with Tenable in the past were fantastic. Coming in as they did with initially an open source tool, there was a lot of familiarity, so it was easy to find support resources for it. My experiences with Rapid7 have been, on the whole, very positive. It's not without its hiccups. Any large organization, as they expand their offerings and as you start picking up the things that are off of their primary product focus, you begin to see more and more support issues and bug issues and things like that. Okay. But on the whole, Rapid7 has been pretty positive. My experiences with Qualys were initially, I would put them at neutral, but trended negative on the experience with support. But to their credit, they did work to address it, and it did appear to be primarily associated with regional support resources rather than the organization itself. So I think that it was fairly specific to where we sat geographically more than anything. But that said, of the three today, the one I'm most familiar with is Rapid7, and they've had the most positive experience for me as a CISO and for my support teams.
Appreciate it very, very much. Now, this is a theory, and it's a theory that was driven by two of your peers in recent ETR Insights interviews. I had one, and I'm going to pull them up, even though not many people would expect them to be on the same chart together, but I'm going to quickly pull up CrowdStrike and SentinelOne. Now, there are a million other players in the EDR, XDR space, and if you'd like, I could certainly go ahead and pull up more. But right now, these two seem to be really fighting each other for share. Obviously, Microsoft is in the space, Fortinet's in the space, Cisco is moving more and more towards the space. So we could pull up more, but I think everyone understands right now, CrowdStrike, SentinelOne seem to be fighting each other. And as you can see here by the data, CrowdStrike is dominant between the two. However, what I've been hearing recently is SentinelOne has been coming out to their customers saying, I can replace your vulnerability management. I can do this for you and therefore save you money and reduce your redundant vendors. For me, I don't necessarily understand why, endpoint and XDR detection and response is the same as making sure things are patched properly. Maybe A, you could educate me, and B, also just give me your thoughts and opinion on if these EDR, XDR vendors have the ability to encroach and disrupt the more traditional vulnerability management players.
So I believe that they're very much biting at the heels of the big three here.
They seem to be, yes.
I've been through a number of proof of value, proof of concept sessions with both vendors and a couple of others. And I've seen a lot of maturity coming in through the EDR, XDR. And this is very similar to what we saw in Qualys and Tenable and Rapid7, where they're expanding their offerings to offer automated remediation, and everybody's playing more and more in containerized space. That's the new frontier, as it were. CrowdStrike and SentinelOne seem to have a good foothold in that containerization space, and they are able to leverage the data that they collect on the endpoint to meet the intent of the control for vulnerability management, identification, remediation. There's a certain amount of auto remediation that's available in all of those tools if you choose to pick it up. We choose not to, but that's because we have a fairly customized, internally customized infrastructure that makes it difficult to outsource patching comfortably without potentially disrupting customers. But overall, in an IT enterprise space, I think CrowdStrike and SentinelOne are definitely really racing ahead. And I think that with the consolidation of the spend, it makes them an easy pick.